Well, maybe it will be Reckless. Maybe it'll be Garen versus Garen again. We got to see Reckless do that yesterday. Maybe we'll get to see him do it. Maybe we'll get to see these guys do it today. But like you said, Bjergsen has been taking this pretty seriously, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes as we're into Champion Select. And the bans are going through. Nasus and Jace banned out by Bjergsen. Jisu taking Ryze and Syndra off the table. Makes sense pretty much so far.
Yeah, I wonder if Jisu will ban the Talia because Bjergsen had some great success with that, with the fast back timers and just running back to lane constantly against fake yes, and yeah.
Olaf banned away. Bjergsen doesn't want anything to do with these unorthodox picks that might catch him off guard. Cassiopeia banned out, but that leaves Zoe open. Bjergsen thinking about that, thinking about Heimerdinger. Now, as someone who explicitly plays melee champions, Heimerdinger can be real difficult to deal with when he puts up those turrets, creates such an effective zone of control. If he thinks Jisu's going to play a melee all-in champion, Heimer can be very effective against that, but will go with the Zoe.
The Zoe is less of a CS and try to pick up the wave, but you can do it from a distance. We'll see what happens here because I am really unsure about this because Talia was up. He could have picked it, but it seems like Zoe may be a little bit higher priority for him right here.
And we talked about Bjergsen trying hard and wanting to win here, but Bjergsen is also about the showmanship. He's got the opportunity to play the Zoe. We got to see him play it in the 5v5s on day number 1. He had an awesome performance on it in Summoner's Rift. Let's see what he can do here on the Howling Abyss up against Jisu's Draven with old school Summoner spells. The Silsol special, Draven with Ignite and Heal. If you get that reference, you've been playing League of Legends for a long time.
Yeah, that's way back.
That's all the way thrown back, but he's going to have Heal Ignite on the Draven. He's going up against the Zoe that's got Barrier, Exhaust, a very common Summoner spell duo that we've seen throughout the course of this 1 versus 1 bracket. Bjergsen going to be taking the Airy Keystone. Jisu going to be doing the same on this one. So that early, reliable, extra poke every time you connect on the damage.
Yeah, the sorcery tree, definitely, because it gives you adaptive AD, AP, I think it's better to start out with than to have the precision for attack speed. So I like the Airy there. And also something interesting to consider is I wonder if Airy on the W and the Q from Draven gives him the shield from Airy because things like Garen's W will make Airy give him the shield. So I'm excited to see what happens here. They both have Resolve secondary. Now we're on the Rift, or I guess the Abyss.
The Abyss. Let's see how these guys decide to play the level 1. I mean, Bjergsen's going to walk right up to that brush, and Jisu's going to say, how you doing? Hit him with a couple of axes. 1, 2, 3, right, one after the other. Now, Bjergsen will be able to get back. I mean, they met each other there before the minions spawn. Howling Abyss 1 versus 1 isn't like Howling Abyss ARAM. You are allowed to go back and heal, shop, do whatever. I mean, if you weren't allowed to do anything until you died, it would kind of defeat the purpose, considering you die and you lose. But Bjergsen gets to go back. He'll walk out with the minion wave. No love lost.
Another thing to consider here is their items that they purchased at the start, right? We've seen Longsword 3 potions, but it's Doran's Blade 1 potion for Jisu. He's going to have to control the wave and get a lot of auto attacks off. But another thing here that's interesting is you kind of give away and telegraph where you're going to go is the Draven. So you can just throw the paddle star at the little icon.
Yeah, the axe marker. We'll have to see if he can manipulate that properly. You saw Bjergsen try to throw the paddle star backwards and catapult it into the melee wave at the very start there and miss a couple of them. So Jisu controlling the wave a little bit better right now.
Yeah, and it takes 1 minion on the second wave to actually hit level 2. So it's going to be level 2 for Jisu, but it looks like he's mostly concerned with farming here.
Yep, not going in just yet.
Oh man, this is going to be so interesting because you could just throw Sleepy Trouble Bubble at the axe and kind of force him to drop one of them.
Yep, you have to be able to play around those bubbles if you are Jisu. We've seen just how effective Zoe can be as long as you're hitting the bubbles. The damage potential you have is huge. Jisu still in a decent enough spot for now, but I also wonder how the itemization is going to go as we go on through this game, because we've seen some different itemization choices so far. Is he just going to go for some armor penetration? Is he going to get a Hex Drinker? There's a lot of choices we could go for.
See, that's the thing is I think we've seen Serrated Dirks when I feel like there should be more Hex Drinkers against mages, so if Jisu is on point, I feel like he would go for less of the style of all-inning like he has before and more for going for the defensive options.
All right, he's 19 farm compared to 16 farm, so up just a little bit in that one. Health relatively high for both players. Here, Max, you're going to eat a lot of damage on that one, though. Drowsy now, falling asleep. Nullifying Orb procs to protect him a little bit, but Bjergsen definitely gets the better of his opponent on that trade. Jisu still farming it up. No fear here. Pops the potion. Bjergsen drinking one of his as well. Jisu still Not going to be forced back on this one. Wants to keep farming it up. The Nullifying Orb did do a little bit to protect him, but remember, Nullifying Orb, that rune in the sorcery tree that provides you sort of a mini Hex Drinker effect when you fall low, but the mini in that statement is very, very true. It is not a super strong shield. It's a small mitigation for magic damage, but it did help prevent some of the extra burst from here.
Yeah, right now, it's going to land on a minion there. And we'll see what happens. You can see right there, Spell Thief is going to give Bjergsen something if he kills that minion. You have to last hit it to get the Spell Thief.
Jisu trying to prevent that, but I don't know how effective that'll be. Paddle Star coming in.
Is that Ignite?
Let's see what it dropped. That
it
is Ignite. Bjergsen grabs an Ignite onto Jisu, drop the exhaust. Sleepy Trouble Bubble. He's asleep. And the last damage doesn't find him.
Hot.
Jisu gets out. We were talking about this guy getting away with things by the skin of his teeth. Single-digit HP.
Oh, Bjergsen he even blew heal there. That's the first summoner spell. I guess the second one counting the Ignite that Bjergsen's had to blow. So no more achievement for him.
We don't count the Ignite. We don't count the Ignite. That is technically Bjergsen's W. That is not a summoner spell. A real one.
Man, that was so close. Jisu, though, gonna pick himself up a Vamp Scepter. Something to note is they both took the Resolve Tree secondary, but Jisu has Revitalize instead of Second Wind. So it'll give him an overshield after he heals over a certain amount here. So that's why he has the Vamp very early on, so he could add a little bit more HP on top of it. But I do feel like Second Wind is overall a little bit of a better mastery, or I guess a rune to have. Masteries, rest in peace.
Yeah, we can't call them masteries anymore. They're all runes, they're all reforged. Jisu back to farming up, 37 to 37. This game is close in farm, and that makes it that much more fun to watch, because a lot of times you see these games end up at a point where one person has so much of a farm advantage, the other guy's forced into making bad moves. But when the farm stays close, it balances on a knife's edge. Bjergsen looking for some cheeky moves.
He got a heal. He got the heal.
He had the heal that was used by Jisu earlier. Now able to find the trouble bubble yet again. Your Paddle Star finds its mark. Bjergsen looking for maybe a little bit more Paddle Star for the first blood.
A fast Paddle Star, too, right before he gets the health relic that had come back up.
The TSM chants roar through the audience, and Bjergsen goes up 1-0, showing exactly what Zoe can do in the 1v1. The champion, I figured would be a lot of fun to see in these types of showdowns, because it is all what can you hit, what can they dodge, and Bjergsen showed he can hit them where they matter.
Man, we were talking about Lady Luck smiling on Jisu. Bjergsen with a few summoner spells from the Spell Thieves to Drowsy into the Paddle Star low cooldown, and gets him with a real fast one there.
Kaboom. Right before he touches the health pack. Stone Cold, too. Not celebratory, not yet. He's only got one down, needs to get the second one, but getting the heal also from Jisu in the previous engagement where he went in with the Ignite that he got from the minion. You get the Ignite from the minion, you go after your opponent, pop his heal, you get his heal, use that in the next fight. The snowball effect, tracing those back to cause and effect of what made it all happen. Bjergsen did what he needed to do, utilizing every part of Zoe's kit there.
Yeah, I do feel like the Zoe is going to end up on that ban list, because before we were thinking maybe the Talia, but it looks like Zoe in those 1v1s, because summoner spells have so much power in them just by nature of being summoner spells and giving you a lot. Spell Thief, taking the other person's summoner spells after they all in you, like, that is actually something that's incredibly scary if you think about it. You'll get 2 barriers in an all-in. You might get 2 exhausts, etc.
Or you get an Ignite if they go Still Sol strat. That's
or you pick one up from the minions and get one there.
Yeah, it was really, really difficult, it looked like, for Jisu to be able to deal with Zoe once she got that advantage through the summoner spells. And when she has that, what are you going to do? I mean, we've seen so many of the outcomes of these 1v1s so far be determined by who can manage to bait out the summoners, who can utilize their summoners better, who can make their opponent use them at a spot where they're kind of a dead spell. Bjergsen was able to just have more summoners this time around, and that found him a very swift win.
Yeah, he almost killed him with the Ignite that he got off the Spell Thieves, just went straight in. And then the other thing, too, is like the Draven, probably not a good matchup against the Zoe. Incredibly telegraphed about where he's going to walk, and you just throw your spells at the Draven icon where he's going to be picking up his axes. So I don't think it's ideal at all.
A little bit of a mismatch. I think Jisu was kind of throwing a curveball to begin with, because he's like, I'm going to play a ranged champion now. They're expecting me to play these top laners, some cheesy stuff like Pantheon and Olaf. Nope, I'm going to go with Draven. We're going to play a 1v1 style champion. But then Bjergsen gets Zoe, and Zoe, like you just said, that counter, because you can read where he's going to walk. Even in that last engage, you saw Bjergsen fires the bubble, but he knows that his opponent's going to be kiting backwards. He throws it in a spot where Jisu, the bubble misses. It falls on the ground. Jisu touches the trap part of the bubble. and that's what ends up getting him in some trouble.
I am so excited for this next one, too, because Jisu banned Ryze, Syndra, Cassiopeia. He banned 3 mages. Now you might have to throw the Zoe up there, and Talia is still up, and we saw Bjergsen go for a kind of a CS match there against Faker and have an okay time in that one. So I think there's a lot here. You talked about how many cards do these guys have up their sleeves, because you got to win this best of 3. If you move on to the finals, you got to have even more strategies. And if you have enough that the bans
we have a
can't
water
affect
spill.
You. Yeah, North America, water spills. Sippy cups need to be a 2018 thing.
2018, franchising and sippy cups. That's what we're going to be moving towards.
I mean, it's a bright future. No more of these water breaks. I mean, it's happened to Haunter. It's happened to so many people.